Congratulations if you see this before September '09. Let me tell you something. It is no accident that you are here. No accident that your eyes are reading these words. No accident that your heart is receiving this message. Life does not place you in front of certain truths by mistake. The timing is divine, the placement intentional, and the message carries weight for your future. You might not even realize it right now, but just the fact that you are here, hearing this before this date, means that something is opening for you, something is being aligned for you, something greater than your imagination is preparing itself to unfold. I want you to think for a moment about how many things had to happen for you to even be present right now. The choices, the delays, the small detours, the unexpected turns, all of them led you to this exact second. Some of you may feel tired, some may feel broken, some may feel uncertain about the road ahead, but let me remind you, timing is everything. September 09 is not just a day marked on the calendar. It is a reminder of preparation, a checkpoint in your journey, a sign that the breakthrough you have been waiting for is closer than you think. The fact that you see this before then is confirmation that you are being called, being prepared, being positioned. Now, I know some of you are asking, why me? Why now? Because life has a way of speaking to us in whispers before it shouts in storms. It gives us warnings, signs, and nudges. Some ignore them, some delay them, some are too distracted to see them. But if your eyes are open to this now, it means you are awake enough to catch it, awake enough to hear what others might miss. Congratulations, because that awareness alone is a blessing. Do you understand how many people go through life blind to their moment of change, blind to the season of transformation? Yet here you are, awake, watching, listening, receiving. That is not small. That is monumental. This moment is not about coincidence. It's about alignment. It is about you stepping into a chapter where doors that were once locked will begin to open, where opportunities that once seemed far out of reach will start drawing near, where the heaviness that weighed you down will begin to lift. But you must not doubt it. You must not allow fear or hesitation to rob you of the gift of timing. You must not shrug it off as just another ordinary message. No, this is not ordinary. This is an announcement over your life that your time has come. Some of you have been waiting for a sign. You've been asking for direction, praying for clarity, hoping for confirmation. And what happens? You arrive here before September 09, hearing exactly what your spirit has been craving. Don't take it lightly. Don't overlook the power of alignment. Life answers when you are ready, and right now, whether you believe it fully or not, you are ready. Ready to step forward. Ready to release what's behind you, ready to embrace what's ahead. Let me tell you the truth. The difference between those who change their lives and those who stay stuck is not always intelligence, not always resources, not always luck. It is timing and readiness. Right now, your timing is here. You are seeing this before a date that will mark a shift, and that shift requires your readiness. You must stand taller. You must decide that enough is enough. You must refuse to go back to the same cycles, the same doubts, the same patterns that tried to bury you before. You must tell yourself, this time, I will not miss my moment. Think of the pain you've endured. Think of the nights you've wrestled with worry. Think of the times you almost gave up, yet something in you whispered, hold on. That was not weakness. That was preparation. That was your inner spirit telling you that your story wasn't done yet. That was life preparing you for the next chapter that begins now. The storm you went through was not meant to drown you. It was meant to wash away the things you no longer need, so you can walk lighter into what's coming. Congratulations if you see this before September 09, because it means you still have time to position yourself. You still have time to decide, to commit, to prepare your heart, your mind, and your actions for the shift that's coming. This is not a message of delay. It is a message of urgency. The days leading to that date are not just numbers on a page. They are opportunities. Opportunities for you to forgive what hurt you, to release what holds you back, to set down the weight that is no longer yours to carry. These are your days of preparation, and the fact that you are here, hearing this now, is proof that life is giving you advance notice that your breakthrough is at the door. Do not walk into the next season carrying the old baggage. Do not walk into the new opportunity speaking the old language of doubt and defeat. Do not sabotage your future by clinging to your past. This is your chance to step out lighter, stronger, wiser, freer. This is your chance to step out with a mind made up and a heart fully open. This is your chance to tell yourself, what I have gone through will not be wasted. What I have lost will not define me. And what is ahead of me will be greater than what is behind me. Think about this. So many people ask for second chances, for new beginnings, for fresh starts. And yet when the moment arrives, they fail to recognize it because it doesn't come wrapped the way they expected. Your moment doesn't always arrive with fireworks and trumpets. Sometimes it arrives quietly in the form of a message you almost scrolled past, in the form of a reminder that seems simple, in the form of words like these that echo in your heart louder than you can explain. That is why I tell you again, do not take this lightly. The universe, God, destiny, whatever name you give it, it has aligned you with this word before September 09 as a confirmation that you are seen, you are chosen, you are being prepared. Let me reel with you. If you ignore this, if you brush it aside, you risk walking past a door that was open for you. But if you embrace it, if you step into it, if you believe it, then nothing can stop what is ahead. Because belief is the switch that activates destiny. Faith is the engine that drives opportunity. Action is the step that transforms potential into reality. Right now, you stand at the intersection of all three: belief, faith, action, and you have been given the gift of timing. That is why I say congratulations. Look around at your life. Look at the places where you've settled. Look at the areas where you've accepted less than what you deserve. Look at the ways you've been shrinking yourself, doubting yourself, holding yourself back. No more. This is your wake-up call. This is the moment to rise, the moment to stand, the moment to declare that you will no longer live small. You will no longer live bound. You will no longer lie beneath the fullness of who you are meant to be. Do you understand the power of that? The power of deciding, here and now, that the story changes with you, that the curse breaks with you, that the cycle ends with you, that your children, your family, your community will live differently because you refuse to miss your moment? I want you to feel the weight of this, because I am not speaking empty words. I am speaking truth. Truth that cuts through excuses. Truth that pulls you higher. Truth that demands your attention. And if you feel something stirring inside you right now, don't ignore it. That stirring is confirmation. That stirring is your soul saying, "This is for me." That stirring is the whisper of life itself saying, "Don't sleep on this moment. Take it. Own it. Live it." Do not waste time comparing your journey to anyone else's. Do not waste time worrying about who understands you or who doubts you. Do not waste time waiting for the approval of people who can't even see their own path clearly. This is your life. This is your time. This is your moment. And if you are seeing this before September 09, then congratulations, because it means you are being handed the map for the next chapter. The question is, will you believe it? Will you embrace it? I am telling you, what once felt like rejection will soon reveal itself as redirection. What once felt like endings will reveal themselves as beginnings. What once felt like emptiness will reveal itself as space for new blessings to arrive. But you must hold on to faith. You must hold on to strength. You must keep walking even when it feels uncertain. Because the fact that you are here before September's 09 proves that you are right on time. You have not missed your chance. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be for what's coming next. Congratulations if you see this before September 09. That alone means that life is about to shift in your favor. That the struggles that once defined you are about to shape you. That the tears that once drowned you are about to water your growth. That the obstacles that once blocked you are about to reveal the strength you never knew you had. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning point. And the timing is no accident. Every ending carries the seed of a greater beginning. But when you are standing in the middle of the ending, it rarely feels that way. Endings hurt. They sting. They feel like something has been ripped out of your hands, out of your heart, out of your very being. You cry, you question, you replay everything in your mind, and you wonder why this chapter had to close the way it did. But what you cannot see in that moment is that God, life, and destiny are not in the business of leaving you empty-handed. What is taken from you often carries within it the hidden seed of what is to come. The pain you feel now is often the soil in which the next season of your life will grow. Think about a seed for a moment. A seed looks lifeless. It looks insignificant. It looks like something you could crush between your fingers and dismiss as useless. But put that seed into the ground, cover it with dirt, allow it to be pressed and buried in darkness, and within time, something breaks open. That breaking, that cracking, that crushing is not the end. It is the beginning of new life. Every ending you've experienced carries within it the same hidden potential. The relationship that ended, the job you lost, the opportunity that slipped through your hands, the door that closed right in your face, it felt like death, but hidden inside that ending is a seed that has the power to birth something greater than what you lost. The challenge is that most people never recognize the seed because it doesn't look like a blessing. It doesn't feel like a blessing. When you're standing in the rubble of an ending, all you see is loss. All you feel is pain. But if you only look at the ashes, you will miss the truth that God always brings beauty from ashes. The ending may break you for a moment, but the seed that was planted through that ending will build you for a lifetime. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. History shows us this pattern again and again. Great leaders, innovators, and men and women of faith all walked through endings that felt final, but those endings were only the womb of something greater. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and forgotten in prison. Each of those chapters felt like an ending, but inside those endings was the seed of his rise to power and his role in saving nations. David was rejected by his own family, hunted by Saul, hiding in caves, feeling abandoned. Those were endings of peace, endings of safety, endings of stability. But inside those endings was the seed of kingship, the seed of destiny, the seed of songs that would echo through eternity. Even in your own life, you can trace this pattern. The time you thought it was over, the time you thought you couldn't go on, the time you thought that was the final page. Look back now and realize that something was planted there. Maybe it was strength. Maybe it was wisdom. Maybe it was faith. Maybe it was courage. But you walked out with something greater than what you lost. That is how destiny works. Every ending has a seed, and that seed is never wasted. The problem is that seeds require faith. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not dig it up every morning to check if it's growing. He trusts the process. He trusts that the soil, the sun, the water, and time will do their part. He lives with expectation, even though for days, weeks, or months he sees nothing. This is where many people lose heart. You faced an ending, the seed was planted, but because you didn't see immediate results, you thought nothing was happening. But in the unseen places of your life, roots are forming, growth is happening, the future is being shaped. You may not see it yet, but that does not mean the seed is dead. It only means the timing is not yet complete. And let me tell you something powerful. Sometimes the greater the seed, the longer the season of hiddenness. Small seeds sprout quickly, but great trees take time to break through the soil. If you are still in the season of waiting after an ending, do not despise it. Do not think you have been forgotten. The longer the wait, the deeper the roots. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. The stronger the tree, the greater the fruit. What feels like delay is not denial. It is preparation for something you could not carry without the strength you are building right now. Some of you are still clinging to what ended, holding on so tightly to what has already been buried, that you are missing the birth of what is trying to emerge. You can't water yesterday and expect tomorrow's harvest. You can't live in the graveyard of the past and expect to see resurrection in your future. There comes a moment when you must release the ending, not because it didn't matter, not because it wasn't real, not because it wasn't beautiful, but because holding on to the past will blind you to the seed of what's next. Every ending carries pain, but every ending also carries perspective. When something ends, it strips away illusions. It reveals what truly mattered. It reveals who truly stood with you. It reveals where your strength comes from. Endings are often the most honest teachers because they show you what was real and what was temporary. And if you have the courage to embrace the lesson, the ending that tried to destroy you will end up being the very thing that prepared you for greatness. Do not confuse the end of a chapter with the end of the story. Too many people close one chapter and think the book is over. But the author of your life is still writing. He is still weaving. He is still creating. What you thought was the last page is only a pause before the plot twists into something greater. You cried because of what ended, but soon you will rejoice because of what that ending made room for. Remember, these diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified by fire, and seeds grow best when they are buried in the dark. Your endings are not wasted. They are the pressure, the fire, the soil that are shaping something in you and for you. They are birthing resilience. They are birthing clarity. They are birthing destiny. The truth is, the seed of your next beginning is often hidden in the very thing you wish had never happened. That heartbreak, that betrayal, that failure, that loss, it planted something in you that could not have grown otherwise. It shifted your path. It awakened your hunger. It redirected your steps. If you only see the pain, you will miss the purpose. But if you dare to believe that something is being born, In the ashes of what ended, you will see that every ending carries within it the promise of a greater beginning. The absence of people reveals the presence of God. We live in a world where we often measure our worth and our strength by the number of people around us. We think if we have a crowd, then we are safe. If we have friends who clap for us, then we are valuable. If we have people who understand us, then we must be doing well. But life has a way of teaching you that sometimes the crowd disappears. The applause fades. The people who once said they would stand with you vanish. When the road gets heavy, you look around and realize the room is empty. You realize the ones who said, "I'll always be there," are nowhere to be found. That moment feels like abandonment, but it is often the holy moment where the presence of God becomes clearer than ever before. The absence of people strips away your distractions. It forces you to look upward instead of outward. As long as you have people to lean on, you will naturally lean on them. You will call them when you are in pain. You will seek their opinion when you are confused. And you will look for their encouragement when you feel weak. But when people are absent, when no one answers the call, when no one shows up, when no one understands, that is when you discover there is one who has been there all along. You discover that you were never truly alone, only blinded by the illusion that people could fill the role that only God was meant to fill. Think about the wilderness seasons of life. In Scripture, the wilderness was not a place of abundance or comfort. It was dry, it was lonely, it was barren. But it was in the wilderness that God revealed himself. Israel wandered in the desert, and it was in that emptiness that they saw manna fall from heaven and water gush from a rock. It was in the absence of people and the absence of resources that the presence of God became undeniable. If the land had been filled with comfort, they would never have recognized the miracles. If the crowd had been there to provide, they would never have seen the provider. The absence was necessary for the presence to be revealed. Many of you have felt the sting of abandonment. A friend left, a partner betrayed, a group you trusted turned away. At first, it crushed you. It made you feel worthless. It made you wonder what was wrong with you. But I want you to see through a different lens. Their absence created space. Their absence created silence. Their absence made room for a greater presence to walk into your life. As long as people filled the space, you could not hear the whisper of God. But when they left, the silence became a canvas on which God could write his promises. You may have noticed that some of the most profound moments in your life happened when you were alone. That time you cried in the dark and felt a peace wash over you that you could not explain. That night you were at the end of yourself, but suddenly you felt rise up inside you that was not your own. That moment you were so tired you thought you couldn't take another step. But somehow your feet kept moving. That was not you. That was the presence of God. And you only noticed it because the people you normally relied on were not there. The absence of people reveals the source of your true strength. It shows you what cannot be taken away. People may leave, but God remains. Friends may betray, but God is faithful. Crowds may scatter, but God draws closer. When you realize this, you stop panicking when people exit your life. You stop begging them to stay. You stop chasing after those who have decided to walk away. Instead, you begin to thank God for the revelation that their absence gave you. The revelation that He is enough. This does not mean people do not matter. Relationships are beautiful. Companionship is a gift. Support is valuable. But none of those things are meant to replace the presence of God. None of them are meant to sit on the throne of your heart. Sometimes God allows people to leave because their presence was blocking your vision. You were so focused on them that you couldn't see Him. You were so busy depending on them that you forgot where your true help comes from. Their absence is painful, but it is purposeful. Look at the life of Jesus. He fed multitudes, healed crowds, and walked with disciples. Yet in His greatest hour of trial, in the Garden of Gethsemane, everyone slept. When He was arrested, His closest friends scattered. Peter, who swore he would never leave, denied Him 3 times. And when He hung on the cross, there was no cheering crowd, only a few faithful at a distance. It looked like abandonment, but it was in that absence of people that the presence of God's ultimate plan was revealed. The absence was not a curse. It was the doorway to destiny. The same is true for you. That empty space in your life is not just emptiness. It is an invitation. It is God saying, will you notice me now? Will you lean on me now? Will you trust me now? Sometimes He removes the voices around you so you can finally hear His. Sometimes He allows the hands you held to let go so you can finally reach for His. The absence is not rejection. It is redirection. It is shifting your eyes from the temporary to the eternal, from the fragile to the unshakable. You must also understand that the absence of people often reveals the motives of those who were in your life. As long as everything was good, they stayed. As long as you had something to offer, they were near. But when the storm came, they left. It hurts, but it reveals the truth. Better to know who is truly for you than to be surrounded by those who are only for what you give them. Their absence teaches you discernment. Their absence sharpens your vision. Their absence shows you the difference between those who love you and those who only used you. And when you see that clearly, you are freed from the chains of false support. There is a power in solitude that you will never discover in a crowd. When you are by yourself, the noise fades, and you can finally hear what has been whispering to you all along. When the room is empty, your thoughts become clearer. Your prayers become deeper. Your faith becomes stronger. Solitude is not punishment. It is training. It builds a core strength in you that no applause could ever give. It makes you unshakable because you know that even if every human presence fades, the divine presence remains. This is why some of the greatest breakthroughs happen after people leave. When Abraham was called to step into his destiny, he had to leave behind his country and his people. When Gideon faced his battle, God reduced his army until only a small number remained, so that the victory would reveal God's power and not man's strength. When Paul was transformed, he spent time in isolation before stepping into his mission. Again and again, the absence of people preceded the revelation of God. So if you feel the sting of loss, if you look around and see more empty chairs than occupied ones, if you wonder why those you counted on are no longer there, do not despair. Their absence is not the end of your story. It is the unveiling of a presence that is greater, stronger, and more faithful than any human being could ever be. The absence of people is the stage upon which the presence of God shines brightest. Some exits are the doorway to your healing. We often think healing comes only through addition, when something good comes in, when restoration arrives, when blessing flows. But many times, healing begins when something is taken away. Healing begins when the toxic presence leaves. Healing begins when the destructive habit is removed. Healing begins when the weight you've been carrying, the one that was never yours to carry, finally walks out of the door. We cry over exits, but often those exits are the very path to the wholeness we've been praying for. It is human nature to hold on. We cling to people, to patterns, to situations, even when they are draining us. We convince ourselves that having something is better than having nothing. Even if that something is killing our peace, we stay connected to people who tear us down, to jobs that crush our spirit, to habits that weaken our body and soul, because letting go feels too painful. But when those things or those people finally leave, something begins to shift inside of us. At first, it feels like loss, but soon you realize it is release. Soon you see that the pain of their absence is lighter than the pain of their presence ever was. Think about how a wound heals. If there is infection inside, no matter how much you cover it with bandages, no matter how much you decorate the outside, the infection will keep spreading. The healing will not come until the infection is removed. In the same way, there are infections in our lives, relationships, mindsets, environments that cannot stay if we truly want to heal. And sometimes, instead of you removing them, that they remove themselves, they walk away, they exit your life. And while your heart breaks at first, your spirit begins to breathe again. That is the hidden gift of exits. They are often the surgery your soul needed, but was too afraid to schedule. Some of you can remember moments in your life when someone leaving felt like the end of the world. You begged them to stay. You lost sleep. You lost appetite. You lost hope. But now, looking back, you can see clearly their absence was your healing. Their exit freed you from cycles you didn't even know you were trapped in. Their exit gave you the chance to rediscover your voice, your peace, your identity. Their exit was the answer to prayers you were too scared to pray. You asked for peace, but peace could not come until the chaos left. You asked for clarity, but clarity could not come until confusion walked out the door. You asked for healing, but healing could not come until the wound was no longer being reopened every day. Exits also create space. Imagine a room so full of clutter that you can barely walk through it. You keep tripping. You keep bumping into things. You keep losing what really matters because of all the unnecessary things blocking your way. That is what life looks like when you keep holding on to everyone and everything, even when they no longer belong. But when something leaves, space is created, and that space becomes the place where healing begins. You suddenly have room to grow, to breathe, to invite peace, to invite love, to invite joy. The empty chair at the table looks painful at first, but soon you realize it is an open seat for someone who will bring health instead of harm, peace instead of chaos, growth instead of stagnation. Do not mistake exits as punishment. They are often protection. They are often mercy. They are often the kindest answer you could ever receive. You may not see it in the moment because all you feel is the sting of loss. But sometimes God removes people you thought you couldn't live without because He knows they were slowly destroying you. Sometimes He allows doors to close that you beg to remain open because He knows what is on the other side would have crushed you. The exit looks cruel in the moment, but the healing that follows reveals the love behind it. Even Scripture is full of exits that led to healing. Israel had to exit Egypt before they could be healed from slavery. Ruth had to leave Moab before she could find her destiny in Bethlehem. The disciples had to leave their nets before they could follow Jesus into their calling. Again and again, exits were the doorway to healing, to wholeness, to purpose. None of those exits were easy. They all carried grief, uncertainty, and loss. But in every case, the healing on the other side was far greater than the pain of what was left behind. Healing is not always addition. It is subtraction. It is pruning. A tree grows stronger when branches are cut back. A vine produces more fruit when the dead parts are removed. Your life is the same. If you are willing to see exits not as curses, but as pruning, you will understand that they are not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you. They are not meant to reduce you, but to multiply you. Healing often hides inside what looks like subtraction. There is another truth about exits. They reveal your strength. As long as you cling to people for identity, you will never know who you really are. As long as you depend on others for your peace, you will never know the power of peace within you. When people leave, you are forced to face yourself. You are forced to discover that you are more resilient than you thought. You are stronger than you imagined. You are wiser than you believed. Their absence forces you to dig deeper into the strength that was always there, waiting to be uncovered. Exits also shift your perspective. When someone is present, you often tolerate things you shouldn't. You excuse behaviors. You ignore red flags. You downplay the pain because their presence is familiar. But when they leave, your eyes open. You see the weight you carried. You see the patterns you accepted. You see the damage that was being done. That clarity itself is healing because you are no longer blinded by attachment. You can see the truth, and the truth is always the first step to freedom. For some of you, the exit you are facing right now feels unbearable. You cannot imagine life without what you lost. You cannot imagine a future without who walked away. But I tell you today, healing is on the other side of that exit. It may not be visible yet. It may not be immediate. Healing often takes time, just like wounds take time to close. But the exit that broke you will one day be the reason you are whole. The doorway of loss is often the hallway to restoration. Exits are not the end. They are a turning point. They redirect you. They reshape you. They refine you. They push you into places you would never have gone on your own. They stretch you into strength you didn't know you had. They open doors you didn't even know existed. And while at first they feel like rejection, you will come to see they were protection. While they feel like destruction, you will realize they were construction. While they feel like endings, you will understand they were beginnings. The greatest mistake you can make is to chase after what left. The door closed for a reason. The exit happened for a reason. If you run back, you will reopen wounds that were starting to heal. If you chase them, you will forfeit the healing that is waiting for you. Trust that what exited your life had to go. Trust that their departure is not the destruction of your future, but the design of your healing. Trust that your healing is worth more than their presence ever was. Some exits may break your heart, but they will save your soul. Some exits may empty your hands, but they will free your spirit. Some exits may make you cry, but they will make you whole. Healing rarely feels good in the moment. It feels like pain. It feels like loss. It feels like loneliness. But hidden inside that pain is restoration. Hidden inside that loss is freedom. Hidden inside that loneliness is the presence of God that fills every void. So when something exits your life, when people leave, when doors close, when opportunities vanish, do not despair. Do not fight to hold on to what walked away. Recognize the deeper truth. Some exits are not the end. They are the doorway. They are the threshold. They are the very path to the healing your soul has been crying out for.